Hello there. I said I was going to tell you all some stories, and I found one that was pretty interesting. It involves a lady that goes by the name or went by the name of Elisa Lam. Now you can tell by the way that I said was a lady, she died perchance. Anyways, this involves a lot of really weird paranormal activity. Like maybe it also involves some like mental problems, which granted a lot of people go through, but she went through some pretty hardcore ones. But there's a lot of stuff that happened during this that I thought was pretty interesting myself. So to start off, Elisa Lamb or Lam, it's Elisa Lam. Lamb is Lam. So B. So Lamb. Anyways, Alyssa has a wild story. Now, this has been featured thousands of times, but basically, she was a 21-year-old girl who wanted to go and travel the world. Or if you're 21, I would say a 21-year-old woman, implying that you are young and ignorant. I know, you know, we all know. Anyways, Alyssa wanted to travel. Her parents were from Hong Kong. Now she was, like I said, she was 21 years old, and her parents were still like, we don't know, we don't really want you to travel. And she's like, listen, to be safe, I'll call you every night. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's helpful somehow. They lived in Canada, but she wanted to visit the good old USA, California in particular. Now there was a lot of things that went down during this. To start off, Alyssa traveled. She used Amtrak, I do believe. She traveled by train. And then she ended up in the Cecil Hotel, which is located very close to Skid Row. Now, I don't know if you know a lot about Skid Row. I don't, but I looked it up. It's just like blocks and blocks of homeless people and illegal activity. That's basically what Skid Row is. Now, the Cecil Hotel has quite a history to it. One of those being that a lot of people, since it was built in 1920s, was a lot of self euthanasia, if you know what I mean. A lot, more than I would say other places. However, it was connected closely to Skid Row, or it's close to it. So maybe epidemics caused this. Not only that, but it had multiple psychopaths stay there, multiple serial killers. One of them being the Night Stalker, and I thought that was interesting. I think he like unalived 14 people, which is a lot. So this hotel has a lot of like paranormal history going on with it. I wouldn't say paranormal history. I would say it has a bad history that leads a lot of people to think that it would be a paranormal hotel. You know what I mean? Ghosts and ghouls and stuff like that. Anyways, Alyssa somehow stayed at this hotel. However, whenever she first got there, this is such one of these weird hotels. I've never been in one, but whenever you board or room and board, they put you up with other people. Apparently, I guess it's cheaper, maybe. I don't know. However, she was staying with two other people while she was there. She was only there for a few days, and while she was there, the tenants at the time were like calling the manager, and they're like, "You got to get her out of here. She's lost her mind. She's nuts. We can't do this." She was writing things down like, you all need to go home. Get out of here. Go home. And then, like, before they would enter, she would make them say a password to get into the room, which is a little bit on the, a little bit weird side, granted. I mean, I've asked for passwords before too. I don't think it's that. It's weird. Okay, it's weird. So she was acting a little bit erratic. However, she still checked in with her parents every night, and her parents was like, "Oh, she was acting perfectly normal. We don't know what's wrong with her." Now, a few days into this whole event, she goes to the bookstore. She's going to buy some books to take home to her family, which means she was planning on going home. So she's like, I don't know if I should get these because they're awfully heavy, and I don't know if I'll be able to travel with them very well, which implies that maybe she wasn't super strong or something. That'll come into play a little bit later. Now, there is some video footage, and she gets on an elevator, and whenever she does this, it's really weird because she pushes like a bunch of buttons, and the elevator doors open and they stay open. Now, I this is the one part of this that I think is really weird, and I don't understand why it bothers me so much. But the elevator doors stay open for a very long time. If you want, I'll show you some footage. It's a couple minutes long. Skip ahead if you want to, but here's the footage. So you can see that the elevator doors kind of stay open. And then like she's doing some erratic stuff. At one point it looks like she's petting a invisible entity or like swimming through something. I don't know. It is weird, but she exits the elevator. The doors close. And then they open back up and then they close again. But they stay open for so long and then they open and close for nothing, seemingly. Now, this is the last time that Alyssa was seen alive. So, time goes on. Her parents freak out. They call the police. The police are like, okay, missing person in this part of the neighborhood. Let's go check it out. And they go check it out. There's nothing. The dog kind of like sniffs around, and they take it up to the roof, sniff around, and they do find a little bit of a scent in one of the rooms. Now, this isn't like a police investigation. They're just searching for somebody, and they can't just go busting through everybody's room because like there's no like homes. They don't know what happened to her. It's a missing person case. The dog kind of sniffs around at one window that leads out to a stairwell, but like it loses its scent instantly. So the police call this investigation off. They're like, okay, it's done. We don't. She's just missing. We'll just have to keep looking for her. Parents fly in. They're looking for her. Well, there starts to be this little bit of a problem, and that problem is the water pressure goes down really bad. Now, whenever this happens, the people are also reporting that some of the water kind of is like tastes funny. Like they're brushing their teeth, it tastes funny, it's in the shower, it smells a little bit weird. And some of the pipes are like have this black sludge coming out of it. Well, the maintenance worker's like, okay, I'll go check it out. And they have these four water towers on top of the roof. So he gets up there, gets his ladder out, and has to lean against these towers because they're tall. They're like 8 foot tall. Climbs up there and looks in there, and Alyssa is just floating there. This is like a week later. Extremely bloated, all that other jazz. Now, okay. Oh, now the problem with this is her body was decomposing. These people, the off flavor was her juices. It's almost like the people back in the day that ate the mummies, they would have loved this. However, normal people do not. Now, this is weird all the way around because to get up to the rooftop, they would have had to walk. For her to get up to the rooftop, she would have had to walk through the maintenance hallway, which would have set off an alarm. It didn't. Now, there was other ways, like perchance through the window, perchance, through the window up the fire escape to the top of the roof. Like the dog smelled it out. However, whenever they got up to the top of the roof, the dogs no longer smelled anything. So they're assuming maybe that's how she got up there, but they don't know exactly how she got into these. And because they're 8 foot tall, you had to use a ladder to get on top of them. Now, there is a little bit of a ledge that you could have walked up on the side and maybe jumped and pulled yourself up. There's also seems to be another way around, like maybe they didn't have lock that goes up to another elevated roof where she could have jumped down and then maybe jumped into it. But the footage of the elevator, it looks like she's hiding from somebody or running from somebody. So the problem with all of this is a lot. There's a lot of different things wrong with it. Mainly because it was eventually reported that she did have mental health issues. One of them being a severe bipolar disorder. One sort of issue, I don't know if it ties with the bipolar disorder, where, sorry, oh, I got acid reflux because I didn't eat anything to get buff. Anyways, I'm going down. Anyways, her shit. What was I talking about? Oh, she had a bipolar disorder, but I'm not 100% sure that that leads to the hallucinations because she did have mild hallucinations. Now, they know that whenever she, at some point in time, like it was reported that she would hide under her bed because she thought somebody was coming to get her. But they said that her body, but they said that but they said that it was under control through medications. However, the autopsy report said that there wasn't enough medication in there to look like she has been on it, stable. And this could have a lot to do with her roommates implying that, she was acting really weird. If she had a bipolar episode, then she could have been hallucinating or whatever caused the hallucinations. To make her more paranoid, maybe. There is that. One of the arguments against that is that it was really hard to get an accurate test or whatever they do to your body during an autopsy or whatever report, because of how diluted everything would have been in the water. I don't know. I don't know about any of that. Uh, like I said, the only part of this that seems, this is all weird. They think that maybe she just had an episode. She thought she was getting chased because of the whole elevator episode. She went up to the tank. She jumped inside of it. She still had most of her clothes on it, but on her whenever she jumped in, but she took them all off. She had all of her stuff on, her room key, her wallet, things like that. But she stripped them all off whenever she got in the water tank. They don't know why she did that. The only thing that was missing was her phone. Now, this gets kind of creepy because she had an active blog. I think it was Tumblr. I don't. She has an active blog. You can look her up. Look up Elisa Lam, and I think you can still find her blog. But her blog updated after she passed away. Now, according to my little bit of research, this blog allows you to, you know, put a date in and it posts it on that day. And they think maybe that's what she was doing. There's other people thinking that maybe somebody killed her and they were playing with her phone. But the autopsy reported that there was no other things that happened to her to imply that it was bad juju. That she didn't get. So, yes, the only part of this is that this hotel was extremely known for bad juju. Just bad juju. I mean, you had serial killers, lots of self euthanasia. You had people in there getting all the time, not all the time, but it happened quite often. It was a very bad hotel. They didn't find any other signs of anything bad in her system. I think they found a tiny little bit of alcohol, but nothing outside of the realm besides like ibuprofen and her medications. So, all in all, it's just weird. And what brought all this up was I was looking through a subreddit about creepy pastas, and one of them was called the Elevator Gang. This is where you push a certain kind of buttons, and then if the elevator goes up and you open the door, you get transported to another place or a dimension or something like that. And then you have to reverse the numbers. And it's just weird because of all the weird things that happened with that elevator in particular. I don't know. I found it pretty fascinating. And I thought you all would enjoy that. I said I was going to tell little stories. I know this is a long one. I'm going to actually have to edit this out. Yeah, and so you all can actually watch it because I won't be able to upload it. Anyways, I thought it was an interesting story. I didn't know. I'm sure most of you have heard of it. If you haven't, let me know what you think about it. It's a very weird story. It's a little bit grotesque, if I do say so myself. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful. Feel free to follow and like and share. I'm trying to grow this account up a little bit. I like if you want to follow, we can be. It's friendly. I mean, it's fine. You can see me stutter through and lisp. Apparently, I have a lisp. Through more content. Nobody's gonna like this. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Okay, bye.